What's going on, guys? Welcome to the channel. We got range day. We're doing an everyday carry episode with a comparison between semi-automatic pistols and revolvers. I'm going to be using my Smith & Wesson M&P 40 versus my Charter Arms 357 mag. And yeah, we're going to pick out some pros and cons, and I'm going to try and give you guys tips on picking your next carry gun. Alright, let's get to it. To note that are pros and cons on these guns, first off, is the action. The semi-automatic, you can get more rounds quicker, in my opinion, than you can on the revolver. The other thing too is you also have a ammo capacity difference. On this revolver, I only have 5 shots, and I have 1 speed loader with an additional 5 shots. On the 40, I have a 15-round magazine that I usually keep in the gun, so I usually do 15 plus 1 in the gun, and then I carry 2 mags with me in 2 mags extra. So I have 46 shots in the 40 and only 10 in the 357. So that's one thing to note. Also, the concealability for these two. I always wear when I'm usually in a decent shirt tucked in and maybe a sweatshirt. It's easier for me to hide the revolver in my hip. The full size, I usually wear that in a shoulder holster like I have here, because it's a little bit bulkier and harder to keep hidden, but I do also wear it on my hip, but it all depends on what kind of clothes I'm wearing. So, alright, we'll get to a couple more right after this. We're going to go ahead and throw some lead down range. We're going to do a quick run, 5 rounds, then a speed loader with another 5 rounds, and we're going to see what that does. Well, that wraps up our day. I had some unexpected camera difficulties. My battery went dead while I was at the range, so the range clips I got to you guys, that's all I could get. I got my camera charged. It's actually a couple hours since I was able to get to the range, but I can at least help you guys out with going over some of the pros and cons that can help you guys get your next carry weapon, or to help you with the carry weapon that you have. So I did a little research too, along with some of the stuff that I already know. For your revolvers, some of the pros, typically a smaller gun. Yeah, you're gonna photobomb this, aren't you? Yeah. Typically a smaller gun. The sights are integrated into the barrel and the rest of the frame, so they will not move. You don't have to worry about getting it bumped, and the sights are going to be off. You do have to worry about the front sight being bent, because that can happen, but it takes a lot of force, especially on a solid revolver. It'll take a lot to get that bent. Then you got revolvers are less likely to jam up on you. They don't have a lot of mechanical features. The gun itself is pretty straightforward. The frame and barrel is all one unit. The only thing that really moves is the hammer and your cylinder. That's about all that really moves. And that takes an excessive amount of heat to actually jam, and along with a very lot of carbon buildup to ever jam that. Now, some of the cons, which are things that I talked to when I was at the range, are you only have maybe 5 to 6 shots. It all depends on what caliber you shoot. I have seen some people shoot 22s for a revolver, and those can get 9 shots. But your typical carry weapon is going to be like a 9mm, 357, stuff like that. So you're going to have 5 to 6 shots. And then you have to think too, you have to carry maybe 1 or 2 speed loaders, and that's only an additional 10 to 12 shots, depending on how many speed loaders you carry. I only carry 1, so I only have 10 rounds for me. Also, you have to look at, as a con, are certain calibers and barrel lengths. They can be kind of bulky and hard to hide. I know if you get more into like I've seen some people carry 44 mags with 4-inch barrels. Those can get a little difficult. Mine is a 357 with a 2-inch barrel, and that one's really easy to hide. The other con is, for being such a small gun and being most times the barrel length has to do with it, is there is a significant amount of recoil with a revolver versus a semi, but you can overcome it. It's a lot more predictable. So now going over to the semi-automatic, some of the pros are there's larger ammo capacity. You have typically maybe 7 to 8 shots. If you carry a full size like mine, you can have 16, which is 15 plus 1. So 1 in the chamber, 15 in the magazine, and then you have 2 magazines to carry, so you have 40 plus shots of said caliber. This one is kind of a pro, but it also depends too on the revolver, on the shooter, on how much time you have at the range. Is the revolver, or the semi-automatic, has a fast rate of fire. Now you can have someone shoot a revolver just as fast, but it takes a lot of practice. A semi-automatic, you can get into that spray and pray sort of deal where people just start shooting off rounds just to get them down range towards the target, but they might not hit the target. But still, you have a lot faster rate of fire. Now the recoil is less on a semi-automatic because the mechanism, the slide, usually absorbs most of it, so the recoil is reduced. There is still recoil, but it is reduced due to that. Now, some of the cons with that would go into the jamming. Now, in a semi-automatic, there's a lot of moving parts, so there is a big risk of jamming the firearm due to not keeping up on it, not oiling it properly, or having any sort of powder buildup or carbon buildup. And then also heat can cause issues with warping on parts, and can cause things to catch when they're not supposed to, and that can cause catastrophic failure, or it can just cause your gun to temporarily seize up due to things expanding due to heat. Now, one thing that will affect the gun with the slide mechanism is your barrel does move in the process of the slide going back. Now, that can affect your bullet placement at certain yardages to the target, due to when the slide comes back, your barrel will twitch up just a hair, but at enough of a distance, it will make a difference in your shot placement. So that's honestly the last con that I had on semi-automatics. I mean, I carry a semi-automatic and I carry a revolver. I can't really complain on both. I mean, both guns hold up very well for me, but I'm hoping that this information can help you guys to pick your next firearm, or to pick your first firearm. So, alright, hope you guys liked the video. Go ahead and give me a thumbs up. If you want to know more pros and cons, maybe if you guys know any pros and cons, go ahead and drop them down there in the comments, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. carry on, guys. I'll see you next time.